What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It is Tuesday evening. It's finished up work, and I'm going to have a nice glass of wine. But the reason why I'm making this video is there's a lot of news out about, the status of Aaron and PJ. But one thing that has came through my desk that some people have been asking me is why is Aaron's release date earlier than PJ Braun's, despite the fact that they've gotten 54 months. Now, as a former correctional officer, I'm more than happy to not oblige, by your request and explain this to you here. Now, just be aware of this here, okay? These are estimated release dates. So at any point in time, these dates can change at any time there. So these are not all set in stone. And I've written this down. According to the file, Aaron's expected release date is November 11th, 2024. PJ's is December 16th, 2025. Now, one thing that comes to mind is, hey, maybe Aaron is snitching out people and everything like that. That is very possible, although the thing about it is that if you're going to be snitching someone out there, usually the release times would be remaining the same, and then all of a sudden, that person is actually released before anyone is wiser. I'm not saying it isn't possible, but yes, he could be getting credited for time off just for snitching there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that out there, but I would seriously doubt that would be the case. There's a couple of factors that's definitely going to be in place. And well, like I said, there's many variables in place there, but a lot of them don't apply. Race isn't a issue itself. PJ's white. Aaron Singerman, he's a white Jewish person. So it's definitely not going to be a race issue. Heck, if I went and stole a toaster from a convenience store or a Family Dollar, I'd probably get more time than Aaron and PJ. Just keeping it real and telling it like it is. So race isn't an issue. But there's a couple of things that's going to be almost definite in terms of explaining as far as to why Aaron's release date is earlier. Now, one of the biggest things is, remember, Aaron was incarcerated before PJ. Now, that was because of his own actions here. Between crashing that boat stupidly, then crashing that car stupidly. So despite that, he's going to get credit for time served there. So that's one thing that's going to factor in as far as him having an earlier release date, is simply because he's been incarcerated right now longer than PJ by about a couple months. So that factors in. Number two, you have to remember that this is actually PJ's, technically his second offense here in terms of having issues with the feds in terms of, steroids, essentially. So his release date may be a little bit higher just because of that there. Remember, just because you get sentenced the same doesn't mean you get released the same dates here. That just doesn't happen. You can get a sentence for 54 months there, and you can either do the whole it's possible that you can do the whole 54 months there. Believe me, it's always possible. Usually not, and sometimes people do like maybe 20-30% there. Most of the time when you see it really low, it's due to illness or something like that. In this case, that doesn't apply. I'm not aware of Aaron or PJ being sick or anything like that. So, but that is good to think about there. So, if you ever and hopefully none of you ever go to prison or not, but if you go to prison and the first thing you'll want to do is, it's best to check yourself into prison. Don't let them go and lock you up there decide to go and get you, because if they have to go get you, they're going to ride you from prison to prison to prison to prison, and it's going to suck. Just turn yourself in. When you know it's your time to go, turn yourself in. Just walk through the pearly gates there and start your incarceration. Don't BS about it. Be a man about it, okay? But we're getting off subject here, all right? So The next thing that's going to factor in terms of the release dates is actually, simply their profile. And what I mean by that is PJ has no kids whatsoever. Aaron Singerman has a wife and he has 3 kids there. A lot of times there, if someone is a person that supports the family, is the breadwinner, then yes, that person is subject to actually get a sooner release date than someone that's single and has no wife and nobody else to support, though. you know Aaron, like I said before, Aaron has a family, PJ doesn't, so that can also possibly factor into the release date. One of the other things is, simply what programs are they checking into? Now, here's the thing. If Aaron checked into one of those drug rehabilitation programs or DUI programs, then he's going to get credit for successful completion of those classes. The only thing is, I don't think it's been enough time for him to complete one of those classes. I could be wrong there. So, but if he's taking drug treatment and drug rehab, then he's going to get credit off of his sentence for that. Not only that, it's also going to depend on what jobs they're doing in the prison itself there, Depending on the job, the certain jobs are going to take credit off of your prison sentence here. All right. Also, one other thing there, how much trouble are they getting into? You see, little infractions and everything like that can affect your sentence time. That's not anything that we'll ever hear about because these are infractions. They're not criminal offenses or anything like that. Now, a criminal offense, if you do some criminal activity, you go and stab someone or so forth, then yes, you're going to get extra time for that new charge. But for things such as not waking up or hiding food under your bunk or hiding toilet paper, that's one of the things that I had to deal with. And sometimes they would hide strips of chicken under their bed. And that way they could make their prison burritos, Make a prison burrito, by the way, is you take that strips of chicken, you take a bag of, usually, I always liked, and I've made prison burritos too, even when I was sitting in jail there. So sometimes if I ain't got time to run to the lunchroom and I'm working a double, then I'd make myself a prison burrito. You take some, and because there's no microwaves in prisons. If I have to sit in a pot, I'm going to do what I got to do. So I take some strips of chicken, you throw it into, a bag itself there, you mush it around, and then I just sit on it for like maybe an hour or so. And, next thing you know, you got something to eat. Just keeping it real and telling it like it is. If you ever go to prison, that's how you make a prison burrito. If you want to make weights, just take yourself some plastic bags, fill them up with water and lift your weights whenever the guards are coming. Just simply, pour out the water. Don't tie a tie in it or anything like that. Just tie it to a point to where you can empty it and then just hide it under your bed. You got weights here. All right. But again, we're getting off subject there. But sometimes, like I said, I was a corrections officer, so I always like discussing some of my experiences. Maybe in a couple of other videos, I'll go over a couple stories here, and they're quite interesting. But the last thing I need to mention, as far as what can factor in to their prison sentence, is simply this. PJ is in the Alabama prison. Aaron is in Florida. So different states, sometimes, even though these are federal prisons, depending on the warden or whoever's in charge, some of them can be a little bit stiffer than the other ones, as well as the whether one's going to be overcrowded, which I would seriously doubt either one of these are overcrowded because these are minimum security. But these are all the things that's going to factor in as far as they are concerned in terms of, their release date is concerned. And remember, all of this can change at any point in time. So even though, according to the records, Aaron's supposed to be released on November 1st, 2024, that doesn't mean he's going to be released. That's the same with PJ. These are just expected ones. They may get out even earlier, or they may get out much later, But they cannot do more than 54 months unless they screw something else up here. But I hope that was a good explanation. Again, like and subscribe to the Vince Goodrum channel. Click the link below, likes and comments. You know, that helps out the algorithm, helps me get a little bit of traffic in here. But that's all I got to say today, people. You guys take care. Have a good night.